Everybody has a couple of favorite weapons in Warframe. And I get asked this question a whole lot. Hey Leyzar, what's your favorite weapon in Warframe? And it's hard to answer. But if I'm allowed the top 5, the Tiberon Prime would definitely be a part of it. When this weapon came out, the looks, the usability, the damage, it was insane, man. And I absolutely loved the weapon. Now, it's not as powerful as it used to be, but the Tiberon Prime can still pack one hilariously large punch. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into the Tiberon Prime. As per the usual, I'm going to have a cheap build, something affordable that most players should be able to build, but of course we also got the quote-unquote endgame setup with a crazy Riven. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually take a new player-friendly approach. I like to take my time and explain a lot of the aspects that veteran players should already be accustomed to. So in case you're a vet, and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Tiberon Prime. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of free shots. Now, before we get into anything, I want to make a bit of a full disclosure. I love this weapon. I loved it ever since it came out, from a aesthetic perspective, from a functionality perspective, from a power perspective, you name it, the Tiberon Prime has it. So it's gonna be difficult for me to be objective, but I'll give it my best shot. For the longest time, this weapon right here was unique because it has 3 active fire modes. Now, there were some weapons that had 2 but not 3, so therefore, it was awesome, kinda. And then the Kuva Hint showed up, which is basically a carbon copy of the Tiberon Prime from a functionality perspective. I still don't like that decision that D made, but there you go. So, 3 fire modes, right? Burst automatic, 3 bullets in rapid succession like so, with very little recoil. I'm not sure if you guys are noticing this on these corrupted heavy goons, but let me show you, I don't know, 15 meters, is that good enough? 20 meters? 20 meters should be good enough. You will see that the bullets do climb just a little bit. From my point of view, it's not really worth using stabilizer on this weapon because again, the recoil is minimal. You got semi-automatic fire mode and the weapon will become semi-automatic. By the way, you change the fire modes by pressing your middle mouse button or your secondary fire mode if you're on console. I apologize, I don't know what button that is on a controller. And the final fire mode would be automatic. Now, from my subjective point of view, this is not a weapon to be used in automatic fire mode. If you're looking for an ammo guzzler, a bullet hose of sorts, try the Prisma Gorgon, try the Grakata, try the Tenora. Link in the cards right now for full reviews on those weapons. Those are weapons to be used as bullet hose. This one, not so much. So I would recommend you focus on burst fire mode or semi-automatic fire mode. That said, there's really nothing I can complain about the Tiberon Prime when it comes to usability. Perhaps the magazine is a tad low at only 42, but again, if you're gonna be using it in burst and semi-automatic, you're not really gonna have much of an issue. Let's have a closer look at stats. Mod capacity 60 out of 60, and if your Tiberon Prime has only 40 out of 30, jump into actions and install the Auto King Catalyst, doubling your mod capacity. Now, unfortunately in Warframe, this is a necessary step to maxing out any weapon. You can pay 20 plat to have one installed, you can grind one from Nightwave, you can get a blueprint from the Daily Sortie if you are quote-unquote lucky, and several events in Warframe also list an Auto King Catalyst as a possible or guaranteed reward. For the weapon build, I'm recommending you guys 2 format will be necessary, maybe 3. I format 5 times because never mind why. Accuracy 43.3 on the Tiberon Prime. Now, if you're gonna go with heavy calibre and multi-shot, yes, the ever so mandatory test, heavy caliber with multi-shot, so you can see the actual negative accuracy effect. Now, I say this is usable. Again, a few bullets landing off the crosshairs, semi-automatic, full fire rate by the way. Few bullets landing off the crosshairs and automatic as well. You can use heavy caliber if you so desire, but you know what? There are plenty of other powerful mods that you can use on the Tiberon Prime. The Weapon Excellence mod slot on this weapon, I would not unlock. Now, I unlocked it because I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but you can use stabilizer. It's not really worth it, and you will have to reformat the polarity from a V symbol to a dash symbol or Naramon. Vigilante supplies for the chance to enhance critical hits. You don't really need it because you can get the same bonus from your Sentinel's weapon. More zoom. More zoom, I guess. Again, I would not pay the 20 plat or farm the adapter to unlock this slot right here. Let's talk critical chance, because when it comes to critical chance and primary weapons in Warframe, it's a very touchy-feely kind of subject because of this mod right here. Hunter Mumu. I hate Hunter Mumu. Okay, no, that's too much of a strong word. I heavily dislike Hunter munitions and how powerful it is. Now, basically, any weapon in Warframe that has a decent critical chance, you gotta use Hunter munitions on it because it's a huge benefit, man. A 30% chance to apply a slash on critical hit that bypasses the whole status chance of the weapon. That is huge. That is status application on crit and not any status application slash of all things. Dear DE, come on. Come on, seriously, it's been years. They don't care. No, they don't care one bit. Critical chance in burst fire mode is going to be 28%. You got 30% in semi-automatic, and in automatic the lowest at 16%. Critical multiplier also changes 3.0 in burst, 3.4 in semi, and 2.8 in automatic. So as you can see, when it comes to critical stats, the automatic fire mode is the lowest, but it does strike back when it comes to status chance. 32% instead of 18% for semi and 20% in burst. So my favorite is the burst fire mode. It's a bit of a middle ground between the two. I recommend you try using burst on this weapon and of course experiment with all the fire modes. Fire rate of 7.38 on burst, you got 6 on semi-automatic and 8.33 on automatic. The damage will not be changing, of course, basically it's the same weapon, so you got 46 total damage on all, and the highest amount is gonna be puncture, but by puncture, but by a very small amount. You also got impact, sadly, and slash as well. So let's try a standard build, then we're gonna be talking about Riven Disposition and all whatnot. And you got damage acceleration, multi-shot with split chamber, critical chance, critical damage combo between point strike, vital sense, and hunter munitions, as stated before, has to be on this build. You also got the 260-60 mods, rhyme rounds, and malignant force. This is the meta build right now, okay? When it comes to primary weapons that can actually crit, this is your basic build, with vigilante armaments being an option slot, because you don't need to use vigilante armament. 60% multi-shot is fantastic. The 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons is also nice. Now it says 20%. It's a visual bug, okay? It's a visual bug. I do not have a sentinel on, and my Loki will not be skewing the test results, okay? So it's just a visual bug. Each vigilante mods grants you 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. Let's test the build like this, see what kind of results we get, then we can change a few things here and there. And believe me, I don't highlight hunter munitions every single time simply because I like it. Yes, I'm as bored or not, if more bored than you are of it. 70% critical chance we're gonna have in burst fire mode, and in semi-automatic we're gonna have a touch more, 75% with a 7.5x critical multiplier. Level 120 corrupted heavy goons as per the usual benchmark. And of course we're gonna be trying all the free fire modes. So this is a standard, cheap, no frills build. Take a look at that. How is that not powerful? That is absolutely phenomenal, man. You can two-shot. Well, two-shot, 6 bullets, 2 burst modes, right? That's a single burst on the target. You got 4 slashes, 3 vitals. Will it be a kill? Nope, it's gonna stop right at the end. Essentially, you need 2. If you get really lucky with your crits, then yes, you can one-shot Corrupted Heavy Goon level 120 in burst fire mode. Let's switch to semi-automatic. Boom, 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 dead. That's it. It's gone, it's dead, it's so dead. I overshot on that one. That's enough, that's enough. 4 slashes, maybe put one more, just, you know, to be safe and all whatnot. As you can see with a standard cheapo build, because there's no mod which is expensive on this build, this weapon shreds, okay? It cuts through high level targets like a hot knife through peanut butter. I got you. Anyway, automatic fire mode. This one will work as well. Not as fine, definitely not, but you know how it is with automatic weapons. They allow for a bit more leniency in gameplay, if you so desire to call it. Now, if you were to change out the multi-shot mod, let's say you don't like my idea, hey man, I want to use something else instead of vigilante armaments because I believe this mod is underpowered. You would be wrong in calling it underpowered, but here's what you can do, Argan in the scope. This one is not as expensive as it used to be. Once upon a time, this was a 300, 400 plat. It's brought by the Acolyte event, brought by the Acolyte event, farmed from the Acolyte event, and that happens like twice a year max. Okay, you see the Acolytes twice a year, and even then, even when they come, you know what happens? Everybody goes crazy farming the Acolyte event, and then they're completely burned out and quit Warframe for like a month or two. I saw several of my friends basically go down that path. So when it comes, don't burn yourself out too much on it. Let's try it with Arcanes Scope. What does Arcanes Scope mean on the weapon? Guaranteed crits in the first two fire modes, okay? So more chances to apply that slash. On the other hand, you don't have as much multi-shot, so let's see how the weapon performs. Yeah. From a mathematical point of view, it would be better with Arcanes Scope, if you really must have it like this. I mean, also from a gameplay perspective, because think about it, the option to have all of your shots in these two fire modes guaranteed crit is huge, right? It's absolutely freaking huge. So you can go for Arcanes Scope if you so desire. Now, let's say you're bored of the viral meta already, seriously. Yes, I've been bored 3 months now. You can go for something like Corrosive. Definitely Corrosive still packs a punch. Not as big of a punch as it used to once upon a time, but screw weapon build diversity and all whatnot. Let's just build viral Mumu on all of our primary weapons. It's even worse for secondary weapons, but that's not the point. That is definitely not the point. What was the point? I forgot what was the point. Now, let's go with electricity. Like so. You can go with Vial Acceleration if you can increase the fire rate on the weapon, but again, this is something I would do on a weapon with a huge magazine, something like the Tenora, something like the Soma Prime, Prisma Gorgon, etc, etc. Not on this one. I see this one as a bit of a middle ground between an assault rifle and a sniper rifle, if you will. I know it's a weird analogy, but that's the only ones I got. Oh, let's talk about Amalgam Serration. I keep forgetting to talk about this one. It's an option mod. Honestly, I would go 100% over for Amalgam Serration instead of the normal one. I mean, 10% of the damage for 25% sprint speed. From my humble point of view, it's definitely worth it. So this would be a, what am I doing? Yes, a corrosive build. Let's see how she performs. Okay, so high voltage, unfortunately, is farmed from the mission. Now Elgar on the planet Eris. You gotta find all the free secret caches. Then upon extraction, you got a massive 5% chance of getting that one or Shell Shock. Battle Kit here also brings the 60/60 electricity mod. So if you see them, bring it. Do yourself a favor and grab them. Alright, yeah. You saw a red crit, yes, because I still have Arcanes Scope on the weapon, and essentially an orange crit got upgraded by Vigilante Armaments to a red crit. As you can see, the weapon shreds. Definitely shreds. Semi-automatic. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, I don't have slashes and stuff, and honestly, I stopped caring about slashes in battle. I like a weapon that delivers its damage upon impact. I want to see a Corrupted Heavy Goon's health bar not slowly being drained away. I want to see it gone instantly. Let him blow up into a million pieces. That is satisfying, dear Digital Extremes. You know, satisfying. Yes, you used to know that. Not anymore, apparently. But anyway, those are just my 2 cents. Don't listen to me. What do I? So there you go. You can build a weapon like so as well. This is basically my way of building the weapon. I said we will talk about Riven Disposition and stuff. Oh yes, yes. Riven Disposition for this weapon is currently set at 2 out of 5. Horrible. You know what I had to go through to get a Tiberon Riven when it first came out? Actually, I had a friend, a very good friend, get me one for a really cheap price. And back then, 500 platinum was a cheap price. And he gave it to me for 350. You know, he was such a fantastic individual. Thanks, Ovi! I love you, brah. I love you. I remember what you did for me, but nowadays they're a lot less expensive because, again, you got 2 out of 5. They are still worth getting, but again, to get a good roll, you're looking at... Here's my priority, okay? Here's my priority for Rivens. It's going to be multi-shot, because you gotta have multi-shot. Critical chance and damage, or critical damage, depending on your roll, with a harmless or positive negative. I know, it's a weird thing. What do you mean by positive, negative? Let's have a look at this minus puncture here. Essentially, if you get minus IPS on a Riven, it reduces or completely removes the chance of that IPS from proccing. If this had minus 100% puncture, then puncture could no longer proc. If puncture doesn't proc anymore, that leaves room for more of something else to proc, which is huge in Warframe. Now, ideally, of course, you would have minus impact. I don't know if the Tiberon Riven can roll minus impact, and the problem is, with a Riven Disposition of 2 out of 5, you cannot get to minus 100% of IPS. You can get, I think, minus 75 or something like that. I may be wrong, I didn't run the calculations. Critical damage, multi-shot, minus puncture. I mean, this Riven is just freaking gorgeous, amazing. Take a look at the critical multiplier. 9.7 in burst and 11 in semi-automatic. Now, of course, I don't have guaranteed crits because what am I gonna renounce on this weapon? I can't renounce the Viral. I cannot, and I gotta keep Hunter munitions. And yes, I go sometimes for Amalgam Serration. I believe that the trade-off is worth it. But here's how you can compensate. Allow your Warframe one free Arcane slot and go with Avenger. That will plug that 30% chance, okay? So you're gonna go to 100% in burst and 105% in semi-automatic. So there you go, you can fix it like Sue. You guys know Sue, she's fat. Oh, damn it, I really should stop with these jokes. But anyway, that's not important. What is important? Level 120 Corrupted Heavy Goons test. That is important. As you can see, the weapon can absolutely murder a high-level target, but it could do so before. Only now it murders them harder. It murders them harder. So I had a good friend once upon a time, and he said something like, there's no kill like overkill. And I had another friend who said, you know what, overkill is a myth. There's no such thing as overkill. So you can say something like this for a build on the Tiberon Prime. Of course, it's gonna tear through high-level targets like a hot knife through butter. And again, if you like this style of weapon, may I recommend you have a look at the Kuva Hind as well. It's basically the same idea of a weapon, only that one looks subjectively ugly as sin. And I say subjectively because, again, it is looks we're talking about. If it wasn't so ugly, damn. But it is. So there you go. I think we got a rifle skin nowadays. I'm not sure. Now, this is pretty much a pretty strong build, but we can go further than this. We can go beyond plus ultra. I'm really sorry I had to do that. We're gonna go with Lady Mirage Prime and Warframe buffs. Now, Mirage, yes. She's basically the best weapon buffer frame in Warframe right now, for objective reasons because of her free ability. It's extremely powerful, but it's extremely quirky as well, and it would appear that Digital Extremes doesn't want to give us more control over her free ability. Why? I do not know. Ask them. Corrosive Projection against Grenier is the meta. Against any heavily armored target is the meta. But you know what? If your build calls for something like, I don't know, Energy Siphon. For the record, Energy Siphon really gives you very little energy back, so you might consider renouncing it. Honestly, I think this is like a meta new player aura, if you will. But you can use whatever you want for your build, that's the point. And you can also use Coaction Drift to pump up the values, the effect of your aura. When it comes to Arcanes, of course, we're gonna go with Arcane Avenger R5. Oh yes, this is 45%. I forgot. I'm used to the all Arcane Avenger would grant you 30. So with Arcane Avenger and Point Strike, in semi-automatic, you're gonna be going to 115%, and in semi, you're gonna go to 120%. So bear that one in mind. Also, these could be double stacked once upon a time, and they ruined that one as well. Arcane Rage as well for primary weapons is basically one of the best arcanes you can use. Both of these are farmed from the third Eidolon down on Cetus, or from Scarlet Spear if you ever get the chance to play that event. On Headshot, a 50% chance for a massive 180% damage to primary weapons for 24 seconds, my friend. Now, this being a primary weapon, you can use a Sentinel. Any Sentinel will do, my friends, and get yourself a Sentinel weapon, and on that weapon use the Vigilante mods. Offense, Supplies, Fervor, and Armaments. 20% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. Even if your Sentinel dies and never comes back to life, you will retain that bonus. And some players say it's the same as critical chance for a weapon that is plus 100%. It's wrong. It's not the same mechanic. It doesn't apply in the same way. Damn it. It doesn't. Really doesn't, but that's not important. What is important? Corrupted Heavy Goons, level 150. And if you're wondering why am I hurrying from this review so much, my baby daughter is set to cry in about 25 minutes. I need to feed her. So, like soup. Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. And if I did, by all means, my friends, I'm only human. Let me know in the comment section down below. Mirage's free ability for an absolutely massive damage increase, as well as her ever so lovely colognes. I cannot wait for the helmet thing so we can like transplant Warframe abilities from one to the other. I have these fantastic even more damage ideas, because why more damage in Warframe? I don't know, because more damage. Of course, I mean, were you expecting anything else than this? Honestly, if you were, you really shouldn't. Because again, the Tiberon Prime is an extremely powerful weapon in Warframe. Take a look at that bleed. What was that? 75,000? Absolutely hilarious, man. It's a fantastic weapon and I highly recommend it. Not necessarily for its automatic fire mode. Burst and semi on this weapon is absolutely insane, man. Give the Tiberon Prime a shot. You have my word, it will not disappoint. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And if you got any sorts of feedback for me, by all means, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you guys got any sorts of suggestion for content ideas. For example, hey man, I would like to see this, I don't like to see that, and so on and so forth. Honestly, I try to reply as much as I can, and I do my best at reading every single comment. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, oh my god, that was beautiful. All the usual places. And if you love the content, hey, consider supporting us via Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Now, until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.